Welcome back to One More Mana. My name is Derik, and today we are getting into a top 5 list of my favorite lands that can up your interaction and that I feel like are underplayed based on the fact that I'm very much underplaying them myself. I have gotten super into lands lately, which I guess I always am, because I've been working on a new build for my Titania that's based around the Legacy 8 Mulch deck. So this whole deck is using Mulch effects, drawing cards, in order to drop a mana bond or use like Renin 7's ability, and basically just dump all your lands on the battlefield, because that's basically all the deck's running. I think it's close to like 50 lands at this point. Eventually make it into a deck tag for that, but really it just has me thinking about my favorite ways to get spell effects on lands. So I want to get into some of my favorites, and like I said, specifically ones that I really don't think are seeing enough play, and besides just my own personal opinion, we'll get into some data to back that up as well. Now, if you want any of the cards in this video, or you just want to check out that Titania deck list down in the description, maybe get some of those cards, head on over to TCG Player. TCG Player is phenomenal. They'll have whatever you're looking for, regardless of card frame, foiling, set symbols. If you're OCD like me and need the right set symbols for every card, if you use the affiliate link down in the description below, you can help support the channel in the process. And speaking of supporting the channel, check out Into the AM. I'm rocking some Into the AM right now. It is so comfy, so wonderful, and for the first time in a very long time, it looks like I sort of have a sense of style. It's wonderful. Now, if you don't want to hear it from me, maybe you want to hear it from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Kenneth the Heathen. Ken, tell him why they should get Into the AM. Hello, this is Ken again, 100% Ken, like I said, no reason to be sketched out, me and my luscious beard. Now, if you want to rock Into the AM like me, you want to be comfortable and you want to look good. If you saw me at Gen Con falling asleep mid-Commander game, it wasn't because I didn't sleep for 4 straight days, or that I was terribly sleep deprived and that sleeping only a couple hours a night was a mistake and Derik was right the whole time. No, it definitely wasn't that. It was because my Into the AM was so comfortable that I could not help but doze off every once in a while during a Commander game. Into the AM, be comfy and look good. Thank you, Ken. I love how Ken is just making up taglines at this point, but let him do his thing. Listen to the man. Gets them Into the AM. If you use the affiliate link down below, and you can use the code on screen to get a discount, you can help support the channel in the process. We really do appreciate all the support. Now, the last thing before we get into the video is super exciting. Y'all, check out the Magic Summit going down November 11th through 13th in Salt Lake City. This thing looks insane. The guest list is literally ridiculous. The events look ridiculous. The prizes are crazy. Like, this thing looks like it's going to be a blast. We cannot wait to be out there. All 3 of us will be out there. So if you want to sling some spells with us, get some games in, see some tables flip in real time in front of your face, but away from your face. We won't hurt you. Then come check it out, have a blast, and use the code one more when you're getting your tickets and stuff, because not only will you get a discount, but you'll help support the channel in the process. And we need the support, because when we get out there, Ken start flipping tables, we're gonna have to be paying for that. So help the Ken flipping tables fun, and use that code when you're buying tickets. Now let's jump into this video. I cannot wait to talk about these cards. Now, like I said, the caveat is I'm trying to look for stuff that I feel like is underplayed, and I'm also trying to be budget conscious. I don't want to be like, yo, Tabernacles and like 2 decks. Let's just all buy up some like, obviously. So I'm going to try to get into cards that are very cheap money-wise, and that my threshold was basically in either 5% of decks, or most in these cases, less than 5% of decks, and all colorless cards. So while Boseiju is the most ridiculously overpowered, broken thing that green never needed, it's like $30. Like, obviously it would be in 100% of green decks if it was $1. Same with stuff like Mazavith, which is a little bit more expensive. It would be in more decks if it was more affordable, stuff like that. So I'm going to try to focus on those criteria. And really the thing is, like I said, this is not based on power level. It's what makes me happy with a little bit of utility and power mixed in. Now we'll start with number 5. At first I wanted to go with Strip Mine, but Strip Mine is about $10 to $15. So the fact that it's a little underplayed doesn't surprise me, because nobody's trying to drop $10 to $15 on every deck when there's more budget options. But the one I was shocked about was Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter is played in only 4% of decks, and to me is my single favorite targeted land destruction card in Magic. It literally just lets you destroy a land, and then in return, that land's controller is going to get a basic and put it into play. Now, that's not going to matter most times. If you're trying to get rid of a Yavimaya, an Urborg, a Cabal Coffers, a Cradle, or if you somehow know somebody running a Tabernacle, whatever it is, this basically $1 Ghost Quarter is going to take care of that very expensive, very broken card. The thing that I love so much about it, though, that I think really separates it for me from any other land destruction cards, even Strip Mines, is that you can do it to yourself. And the biggest thing is you can do it to yourself and mana fix for it. So if you're in a 4 or 5 color deck, yes, colorless lands hurt, but this is actually mana fixing if you need it, because you could Ghost Quarter yourself, go and get the basic you need. So if you're in a situation where you're down to like 1 blue mana and you need that counter spell, if you have other lands open, you can use this Ghost Quarter yourself, bam, get the second blue, and actually do some real tricky shit with it, and I love it for that. It's a card that I basically slot into every deck, and the only reason it's not in all my decks is because I've been too lazy to order them, and I have like Tech Edges and random other land destruction things in my decks. But I think of all of them, this is the best, and the fact that it was in 4% of decks shocks me because I know this is one everybody knows about. I don't think anyone, you're not sitting at a table, someone plays a Ghost Quarter, and you're like, what's that? Like, everybody's seen it, but I do think that 4% is low considering it's just, I feel like it's the best at what it does, at least in my opinion, in the casual sphere that I'm in. Now, number 4, we have a card called Emergent Zone. Now, Emergent Zone is a very, very fun card. It's very, very powerful, and I was genuinely shocked, 1, how cheap it was, and 2, how little it's played. Now, Emergent Zone, you can find it for under $1. You pay 1, sack it, and give all of your spells flash, which is just ridiculous. You basically have Vidalcan Ori on a land. It's very similar to Alchemist Refuge, except it's colorless, and it's under $1. The thing is with Vidalcan Ori, everyone's aware. You play a Vidalcan Ori, that's going to be a target every turn. People are going to be looking at it. People are going to be ready for you. I've played against this card so many times, and both Ced Ken play this card relatively regularly, and maybe, Ken plays it upside down, so maybe that's why I don't see it. But either way, I don't notice it. You'll play it as a land drop, and then like, okay, and then 4 turns later, nobody remembers that you played that Emergent Zone. It kind of just chills, and you can really come out of nowhere and sneakily give things flash and save yourself in situations you would have no ability to do otherwise. Like, the fact that I look at my colorless lands and I'm playing stuff like Reliquary Tower, and I see some people playing Temple of the False God and different utility, whether it's the land that removes hexproof, things like that. Those things are, maybe some games they can be useful. This can be useful basically every game, and not only that, it can win you games, because just a 1 turn of flash speed when no one's expecting it late game is game breaking. One of my favorite things is, especially in non-green decks, I found myself going heavy into the Crucible of Worlds and the Seven's Reclamation, and is it Seven's Reclamation? I'll put it on the screen, you know what I mean? And using stuff like Sun Titan to kind of get pseudo ramp. And the fact that you can bring this back, because lands are so easy to bring back in most cases, and you can keep getting that flash effect, I think it's busted for what it costs. And the fact that it's only in 3% of decks. Also, quick shout out to EDH Rec. I'm not trying to steal any challenge stats or anything here. That's y'all's thing. But yes, thank you for being a beautiful website that I love and can look at numbers and get my double nerd fix of stats and magic at the same time. So love y'all. Now, we're going to move to number 3 now. And at number 3, we have Blast Zone. Blast Zone is phenomenal. It's just so good to have a board wipe on a land. I remember when this first got spoiled, I thought this was going to be an incredibly expensive card money-wise, which is why you should never take financial advice from me. Really in anything, but especially in Magic. It's like $2-3 now, and it's literally only 1% of decks, and it comes in now. It does come in with the counter, so you can't wipe tokens with it, but it's basically a specific board wipe for a given, it's not CMC anymore, mana value. And the thing I love most about it is it lets you be petty as shit. If you got an opponent that is, or let's not say an opponent, we're all friends. If you have a friend that you just want to be petty against, and you really want to get them back, you find out half their board is 3 CMC, well, you have a card right here to just let them know how much you love them. It is the best way to show your affection for your friends. So the utility of board wipe, letting you be petty, and just on a land slot that comes in untapped. Yes, it's colorless, but similar to Emergent Zone, I would so much rather have this over a Reliquary Tower or over Temple of the False God. And in a deck where I'm not trying to be competitive and race out, shit, I'd probably rather have it over an Ancient Tomb, because sometimes I don't want to race out. I don't want to play at a quick speed. I want to take my time, and if it's in a casual deck where I'm not trying to go off on turn 4, this is a much more fun, to me, slower late game play that can really pay off long term. And I just think it is so much. It's a blast to play with. There it was there for me the whole time. All right, now moving on to number 2, we have a card that I don't typically go for auto includes. Like, I don't even play Soul Ring in all my decks, but I do think this one is an auto include, and I don't have a good reason why it's not in every deck I own. It's Scavenger Grounds. Scavenger Grounds is absolutely ridiculous. Its graveyard synergies are so powerful, and they're everywhere. As somebody who runs basically all of my decks involving the graveyard, I know how bad it hurts. I just mentioned EDH Rec. Joey, I'm going to apologize to you right now, because I realize you're probably shut off the video at this point if you're watching this, me telling everyone to run Scavenger Grounds, but it is just so good. It's only a couple bucks. It's only in 5% of decks, which is higher than some of these, but It's basically a better colorless version of Bojuka Bog the way I see it. And Bojuka Bog is everywhere. But with Bojuka Bog, if you have it as an early land drop, one, it comes in tapped. And on top of that, bam, turn 2, a graveyard's exiled. And then it's just done. Its effect's gone. It's just sitting on the board. Being able to play this untapped, I realize it's colorless, but you can just hold this up. And if a graveyard deck's going out, you can choose at instant speed when to exile all graveyards. And if for any reason you're running other deserts, you can actually sacrifice a different desert and have a repeatable just mass graveyard exile on an untapped land. This thing, yeah, this card has won me more games I think than any other card on this list, because there are, again, graveyard strategies of every kind, even in non-graveyard synergizing decks. For $2, it is just ridiculous, and I do think it feels like I am in control of the game when I leave this untapped with another 2 mana, because it is really just a incredible effect to have at instant speed, and the fact that it's on a land just makes it that much sweeter. And then at number 1, we have Mouth of Ronom. Might be Ronom. I'm gonna go with Ronom. And this is one of my favorite cards ever. It comes in untapped, taps for colorless, and you can pay for a snow and tap it. So the incredibly efficient rate of 6 mana and being down a land, essentially, to deal 4 damage to any creature. Not even a player, just a creature. Now, all kidding aside, this has actually won me games in Titania. It is incredible in there, and I found even in other decks that late game, when you're just flooded with mana, having removal on a land is actually pretty good. But the most important part about this card is the Oracle text. Now, this is some new exclusive shit. You might not even see it on Gatherer yet, but if you read the Oracle text, whenever it does get published, you'll notice that in order for this effect to resolve, you have to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze character from the 90s Batman movie, or else shit just fizzles. So you can't just use it. You got to hit somebody with it and be like, I came to kick some ice. Bam. And then the spell resolves. Or if you're playing against the Gishath deck, you can be like, hey, y'all know what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Is it historically accurate? Not even remotely. I don't know why they wrote that line. It doesn't matter though. It was in the movie. It works and it is beautiful. And bonus points if you can do an impression. Like if you can get a real Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, for me, just bam, just double the damage. I don't care. I can only hit that little like guttural noise, like the I came to kick some ice, then hit a that's my probably the world's worst, but that is my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. So there you go. Make that into a GIF or a TikTok. I think that's what the kids use. Now, that is my number 1. I really hope y'all enjoyed this list. These are some of the most fun lands I've found. Just especially, I love to run a lot of lands in my decks. Sometimes you get mana flooded, and I found having these cool utility effects on lands and branching out from my happy place of just running the reliquary towers and stuff like that. I've had a lot of fun finding these weird effects. There's been so many cool utility lands printed. Branching out a little bit more and forcing these into my decks has really increased my fun and always gives me stuff to do. Now, a huge shout out, as always, to all the patrons. We love and appreciate y'all so much. And in the comments, let me know what your favorite utility lands are. I don't care if they're in 100% of decks or 0% of decks. Whatever you're feeling, whatever your favorites one are, whatever your favorite ones are, let me know down below, and I'm gonna steal them shit so I can put them in Titania. But thank you. Really appreciate y'all for watching. So much exciting stuff to come. We really hope to see you at Magic Summit. But until then, we'll see y'all next time.